Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, can you see and hear everyone, sir?
Hello.
What went wrong with VC sir's connection?
Sir, there is some internet issue, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Chopra sir is there with us.
Chopra sir,
but
can
your
you hear
audio
us?
voice is not showing, sir. Audio device.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And you can see us also?
I can't see you right now,
Okay.
but I can hear very clearly.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, sir.
Now I can see. I can see VC sir and Suvarna Bose sir and everybody.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chopra.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
So, fine. I'll do a quick introduction. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, is here. And of course, I need to just introduce Anindita Chatterjee to sir, because she's the guest for the program today. She's going to talk a lot about her, earnings from the internet and how she went about it. And our Vice Chancellor, sir, is of course going to deliver the keynote address in the beginning. I've already introduced Dr. Suvarna Bose to the others. Mr. Chopra is here, and he is the brain behind iLead and the PS Group of Industries. So that's where we are. And our latest, joinee is Professor Indranil Mukherjee, who is the director of the School of Management in our university. That is Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology. So that is what completes the panel for today. So, sir, with your permission, shall we start proceedings?
You start with these two guests, Dr. Bose, Mr. Chopra. They let them share their views, and then I will say something, and you then interact with our main resource persons, and Professor Indranil Mukherjee is there. He will also contribute to this discussion.
Okay, fine. Thank you all the panelists for joining in. And we are just about to start the program. I hope all the delegates, all the participants are in the program. Many more are still joining, and they are still to join. But then, nevertheless, let's start. So the title for today's webinar, in fact, it's a webinar series, as you would know. It starts from today and goes on till Friday. That is 11th to 15th of this month. We are carrying out this webinar series, and it's got a very interesting title. It's called Earning from the Internet. Something that must be very, very interesting to many, many youngsters and aspiring entrepreneurs. So I think we have here a galaxy of very, very eminent speakers here. Professor Shoykot Mitru, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of MAKAUT, needs no introduction, but he'll speak later, and I'll talk about him a little bit before he speaks. I've spoken about him so much, then I'll have to find what to say, something new about him. But before that, let me introduce Dr. Suvarna Bose and Mr. Pradeep Chopra to both of you. First of all, may I ask Dr. Bose to say something? Dr. Bose, as I was saying, is the brain behind IIHM, the Indian Institute of Hotel Management, and he has seen it and done it all, as far as the hospitality sector is concerned, everywhere in this country and abroad. So I think Dr. Bose would be perhaps a very, very suitable person to start the proceedings here. Dr. Bose, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you so much. Good evening, sir, the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, my friend, Mr. Chopra, Anindita, Professor Mukherjee, and of course, Professor Shujit Mukherjee, all of you. Namaskar. And it's such a great initiative. First, let me start by once again applauding the MAKAUT for thinking out of the box. And obviously, we have got a visionary who is leading MAKAUT, Professor Moitro. And I think it's a great, great initiative. I think, first of all, I have been with the digital world in a way for last, 18 years now, when things were just about Google AdWords just came, and Facebook ad just came. Twitter didn't really come that time. Insta didn't born. I think so. I was been managing my own digital account for IIHM. We didn't have an agency, and I was almost working at that time like a stockbroker, like in the morning trying to get my budget up. Then I'm seeing that, okay, this is not working. And then I saw one of my, you know, a competitor, he has put in some budget because he's coming above me. So I get maybe 50 of my friends, call them and say, click them, put them off, uh, eat their budget off, you know. So, but make sure that every time you click, you close and come back, relog and click again. So we used to do all that kind of thing, you know. So kind of mm, uh, digital things like Truecaller. Truecaller is, I think, a very strong digital thing, although it's a mobile thing. Like for example, when a Truecaller comes, we all know now, for many years, you can actually change the name of the caller. If you have got 300 people changing the name of the caller. So all those things we used to do during that time, saying about long time back. So today, of course, it's no more digital first. Digital first is over. It's digital everyone, everywhere. It's digital all. So it's not about digital first and anything else second. I think it's digital everywhere, right from the political party to the education to the selling of the food. And Anindita is going to talk a lot about travel. She was chatting with us a few minutes before. And it's really, really a great experience about two things. One is earning from internet, and other is earning for your own business from internet. So basically you can be an very young person, and I know a lot of students are actually our audience today. So you can become an YouTuber. Now, it sounds very fancy, actually, YouTuber. And if you go and Google, you will possibly get 10,000 pages of what an YouTuber is. But you can actually start just doing maybe a 5 minutes or even a 2 minutes YouTube video just about something as crazy as your pet dog. I saw Anindita having a dog there, so that dog came to my mind. Possibly something very funny. Professor Moitro has got some fantastic dog, and I'm sure people are always not interested in buying your product. In fact, people are not interested in buying your product. Let's put it this way. It is something else you need to do to attract their attention. So, I mean, those days of endorsement are also over. I mean, there were days when in IIHM, we used to use possibly everyone in the country, right from Sanjeev, Kunal, Ranveer, everyone coming and saying IIHM is the best, blah, blah, blah. Those days are over now. People are now not going to buy your lies. No one will buy lies. They understand what is endorsement, what is paid endorsement, and what you are trying to sell. You need to create a niche, you need to create a story, and you need to tell the story very interestingly. Only then our audience, especially our audience, for example, whether it's about education or whether it's about hospitality, whether it's about hotels or whether it's about food, our audience can only be attracted to invest money only if they are sold a story, and not because I am something. I can tell you, I mean, I was having a chat with the CEO of Taj about a week back, 10 days back, Mr. Chatwal, and I said, okay, I've got a fantastic resort in the North Bengal. He said, bullshit. Do you think it's fantastic? I said, yeah, I like it. I said, no, I don't like it. But I have to market the product. Now the product is made, whether it's good or bad, it's not important. Somehow we have to make sure we need to market it. And there we come to digital. So making money out of internet is possibly the most difficult thing in the world, because there is so much of things, so much of content, so much of overdose of content and people are not interested in you. The first assumption all the guys should understand that people are not interested in you. The Aam Janta has got better things to do. Why should they go to Mr. Chopra's media college, although it is the best? Why should they go to eat out possibly in Taj or Oberoi paying so much money? They will not. So how do we sell it? Well, there is no magic formula, to be honest. But I think it needs a lot of time, lot of passion, and lot of valuation. Like I can just quote one quote from the stock market where we say that Kismat is not important, Kimat is important. Because a lot of people go to stock market telling Kismat, Kismat, Kismat. No, it's about Kimat. Kimat means valuation. So people have to actually go for a little bit of a study. People have to go for data analytic. People have to understand how a particular product is coming. It is not about spending a lot of money and you start selling. You don't. In fact, what happened to Red Hat Junior is that they started spending so much of money because they got the money from Baiju after selling it, that people were actually got disgusted. People are telling that they are telling us to get married and to produce a son so that he can get admission there. To learn what? Coding at the age of 7. Well, at the age of 7, whether you need coding or not is something I'm not telling. But I'm trying to say that overdose of putting money in internet don't also work. Now we are also talking about earning. I think one of the basic thing is that a lot of people wants to earn money from internet, but they become very serious. I think the most important thing is the passion and the fun. You need to have the people should notice you. In order to get people notice you, you need to create something that is noticeable, that is out of the ordinary. If you remember that fantastic advertisement of Vodafone of that pug, the dogs, which has nothing to do with Vodafone, but wherever you go, the pug follows you. That the Vodafone, the network follows you. Even you go to barber shop, the pug is there, the Vodafone is there. So that was a great story told. And it was like people really, really started buying the Vodafone connection just because of the beautiful pug. So I think it's very important for all of us to understand, especially a student, that you can make money in internet, but you need to have a decent web design. Most of the web design, I'm sorry to say, that I see are very crap. They are very crappy work, very kind of done in a way which is not very professional. Even Sir always talks about design thinking, and there should be some kind of design thinking here. If I am going to sell possibly my new sunglass. If I need to sell my sunglass, I need to tell why you should buy my sunglass and why you should not buy a Ray-Ban. Not because my sunglass is only 500 rupees and Ray-Ban is maybe 5,000, but because this is a better product than Ray-Ban. I need to tell the story of this sunglass. And for that, I need to have a fantastic web design where people are wearing this sunglass, look how good I look in this sunglass. Look, I look almost like Shah Rukh Khan. So you need to do a lot of things which will attract, possibly put it in Anindita's dog and take a picture of the dog in the sunlight with the sunglass. And that will be more popular than a film star wearing it, because people are no more interested in endorsement, paid endorsement, because digital is something which is very democratic. It's a huge democracy. And here you cannot push a product. I think obviously you need to understand little bit of SEO, little bit of how Google works, little bit of the search engine marketing and search optimization. you need to possibly get a coach. I always say that you always need a guru. A coach now can be virtual. It's not that a coach anymore have to be human like we had coach. Possibly you can get fantastic coaches online. Possibly you can get a robotic coach. Possibly you can take a course from Coursera or somewhere to get yourself coached. But a lot of people jump without even knowing the basics, and it doesn't cost much. I think the uh, online presence is also important, where you have got a lot of stories. So you need to get other influencers. You need to get other influencers like Anindita here to talk about you subtly. For example, I have got a small restaurant up here near the Shialda, and she can say my train was late, so I have nothing to do. I saw this small restaurant called Jolojog, and I went, and what great food I had. So the food influencer there don't have to be a celebrity chef, but somebody whom you can identify. I'm just going there. I just went into a small shop, buy something and take a photograph. You should know how to take a top photo. You should know how to put the lights in, how to know how the backlight and front light works in, everything. So these are the basic things also every student have to first know, understand. There are huge resources in the internet to be taught. I don't think that people need to spend any money to be taught about it. And then possibly you can build up your influence, your Insta account, your Twitter account. I think Twitter is something which is fantastic, because for the students, a lot of students feel that I am 20 years old, so I'm Insta. No, I think you are 20-year-old today, and you would be 24-year-old after 4 years, and you would be 22-year after 2 years. So you need LinkedIn, you need Twitter. If anybody is only concentrating on Insta, then I think we are not looking at the future. So we need to also understand that it's a long-term game. If you are earning money from internet, you cannot earn for today. You need to earn possibly 4 years from now, 3 years from now. So you need to make your own design thinking. You need to actually be quite strong or quite popular on the Twitter. You need to do at least 4 or 5 tweets a day. Some can be good, some can be stupid, doesn't matter. Presence, online presence, very important. Secondly, you have to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where the serious money is. LinkedIn is where your career is. LinkedIn is where all your buyers are residing. That's a big house where all your buyers with the money bags are there. If you can convince them with your product, then you are shorted. But if you ask a guy, I mean, he said, oh, LinkedIn will do once we graduate. No, I think every guy who is in class 12 should go into LinkedIn, because you can learn so much from LinkedIn, which you cannot learn from Facebook or anywhere else. So I believe that we need to have a proper plan. I think earning from internet is definitely a great idea. A lot of people are earning, some small, some big, and some a lot of money. I think that's top chefs of India are very close friend of mine. And sometimes they confide to me that why for last 3 years I've been doing this. I should be doing it for last 10 years. I wasted my time on television. I should be doing this because they're earning much more. If possibly a recipe by Ranveer Brat today in Insta or in YouTube would be earning him much more than a TV show. So there where I think YouTube is one area where you should start. If you have not started, I think more than Insta, more than anything else, it's about YouTube. YouTube is the channel of life, and is easy. You can actually record what we are now talking and just put in some of your pictures and publish tomorrow morning. There's no copyright. So you need to really be very common sense thinker. You need to think out of the box and think just very like a common sense. You need to be street smart, as we say, digitally smart. And I like to say that remember that the entire world is digital now. As I started, it's not digital first anymore. It's digital everywhere. So digital is what your life is. Whether it's about movies, whether it's about education, whether it's about technology, it's about media, it's about medicine, it's about consulting a doctor, buying, traveling, everything is digital. And most importantly, my favorite thing, the food. Everything in food is digital now. In fact, the most searched phrase in YouTube in the last 2 years is food. So you understand how strong the YouTube is, and you can really earn a lot of money. But as I said, you should start with a design, start with a plan, small plan, and then go according to that. Instead of trying to do something and in a haste say that I'm not getting any follower. Like you have got 10,000 follower, she has got 14,000 follower. It will come, it will grow. You need to be patient, and you need to think digitally. Everything to be thought about should be thought digitally. Everything. Whether you get up in the morning and you start brushing, you get a toothpaste, which can be Colgate or Pepsodent, you need to think how digitally I can market it tomorrow morning. And there are companies who have done exactly that and earned huge amount of money. Whether it's a Colgate toothpaste or whether it's a Porsche car, all will be sold in digital medium. Nothing will be sold now for the next 100 years, possibly in print, some maybe in electronic, but digital is going to be the biggest marketplace of the world. So earn from digital, earn from internet, but follow a design, follow a plan, and consult a coach, have a coach. That's all from me. Thank you very much, Mr. Mukherjee.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Bose. I'm tempted to say for a moment you did look like Shah Rukh Khan. So wherever you go, our network follows. I like those lines. I'll keep them in mind. And of course, I'm reminded of the pug. Certainly. Thank you so much. Moving on, sir, we now going to hear from Mr. Chopra, Mr. Pradeep Chopra, and I'll just say a few things before I hand it over to him. Mr. Pradeep Chopra, who is an alumnus of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, is currently the chairman of iLead. He is also the chairman and managing director of the PS Group of Companies. He has been chairman of Educational Committee of CREDAI, national chairman of IMC of Women's ITL, chairman of ITI for Physically Challenged Boys and Girls, currently adopted by the PS Group. He also founded a German company, and presently he is the largest seller of tombstones from India in the German market. He's also the managing committee member of academic council, member of various institutes and universities. I'll not name them. I'll move on, and I'll ask Mr. Chopra to kindly take over and enlighten the crowd. Mr. Chopra, over to you.
Thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor for giving this opportunity, and for the students. You see, what is happening is that your traditional businesses, or the businesses which were earlier not possible to do because you had limited access to customer, is now possible through internet. Thanks to internet, the whole world is your market. Now, I just share with you some ideas. I was, as I said, I had a German company, and I had a lot of requirement in those days of Indian musical instrument in German market. But then the market around, geographically, the market around Bremen, North City, where we are located, was very limited. There were very few customers, and it was not worth our while to start selling, the Indian musical instruments there. But now I know that many companies who have set up a warehouse in Europe having the Indian musical instruments, and the customer actually log in from the entire Europe. And even if they are located in, let's say, Russia or in Finland or in anywhere, the collective number of these customers is large enough to support that business, which was earlier not possible. Now this internet has made it possible. So internet had actually made geography a history. Your location doesn't matter. You can sit here in India and virtually act as a translator between two people who cannot understand each other's language, but you can speak both. Like for instance, when you go to a trade fair, you need somebody who can translate. Suppose somebody has come from Russia and he wants to converse with somebody from Indonesia and they can't understand each other, you need a translator. Now, today you can act as a translator online sitting in Calcutta. It can be a Zoom meeting or it can be a virtual trade fair online, and you can actually join in as a translator online. You can translate from each other and you can earn the money which a physical translator will get there. There are traditional businesses like our entire marketing has transferred from we used to sell properties or flats uh, earlier by showing them physically or talking on telephone, but now you can actually physically do a, a walkthrough of the flat. You can show the entire project online, and you can actually sell the property online to a customer in America, a flat or a project in Calcutta. So a lot of brokers today sitting in Calcutta are marketing uh, Calcutta properties, or for that matter, why Calcutta properties? Properties in other cities of the world to people from other cities of the world. So you can virtually deal with anybody. The property may be in Spain, and you can sell a customer in Germany online. So that's possible. All you need to know is you should know how to market a property. So your physical presence is not required. There are many possibilities, many businesses which are going to emerge. All you have to do is think how internet can enable you to do businesses which were earlier not possible. So there are many. I know many people who are sitting in Calcutta and doing translation for companies which are located in Europe, which are located in Africa, which are located in Australia, and they are doing translation of many various. So there is simply, a text comes in German language, you can translate into any other language where, and they have kept many translators, or you can operate from your house, and whichever language you are proficient, you can do simple translation. Will get you a lot of money because translators in Germany gets a lot of money. One page translation in Germany, you can charge easily 100 euro for translating. So that's about 10,000 rupees. It's about 7,000-8,000 rupees. So that's a great amount of money. You can do graphic designing. You can design logo. You can design brochures. You can design anything online for any client anywhere in the world. Earlier you were restricted by barriers, like you needed a work visa. You couldn't go. Even if you are physically present in Germany, you cannot work for a German company because there was a restriction. Law prohibits you from working in a German company. But now you can stay in Calcutta and work for a German company. Yeah, so that's those barriers have gone, and you can get paid in German currency and in German wages. So that's a great opportunity. So you have to actually think what you want to do. And there are many, as I said, you can actually, there are many people in Germany who like to learn yoga, or you want to learn Bharatanatyam, or who want to learn some Indian cooking, or who want to learn so many things. They don't get these people there. And even if they get it, they are very expensive. I know many people in America who has done Havan in their house, and the Pandit is sitting in Banaras or Calcutta, and he's doing Havan for a family who's in California. So you can do amazing things. You just have to think, what is your core competency? And if you have a core competency, you have to just think where the client is, who can pay you this amount of money, and you can actually service that client sitting in Calcutta through internet. So that's amazing. So my suggestion is to all the students is think what competency you have or what competency you can acquire, and then think where is the customer who is willing to pay you the highest amount of money for your services, for your competency and tap that client sitting in Calcutta and through internet and charge that money. So that's the great possibility. I will not take more time because we actually want to listen from BC sir and today's our guest speaker. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chopra. And let me acknowledge here the wonderful support that MAKAUT has received from Mr. Chopra and his organization iLead in setting up this webinar series and putting it all together. Thank you so much, sir, and your organization for helping us out in this. And we look forward to your help in the future as well. Well, may I now request my colleague, Dr. Indranil Mukherjee, Director of the School of Management Sciences, to kindly give an introduction of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, because he has seen him the closest and he knows he's perhaps the individual who has known our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, most closely. So I will bestow this honor upon Professor Indranil Mukherjee. Please, Indranil.
Okay, thank you, Professor Sujit Mukherjee, and a very good evening to all the distinguished panelists here. And also a very good evening to all those who have gathered for this webinar, and there will be an exchange of views. And may I start by saying that we are organizing this webinar on earnings from the internet, and our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Saikat Moitra, has led the charge, and I'm using these words very consciously, has led the charge regarding this digital revolution in our university right from the day he took over the reins of the university. I mean, those were the days when we were putting a lot of stress, and we continue to put stress on learning from the internet. The digital methods of learning, all the online platforms like Coursera, edX, Udemy. In fact, trust me, we have all been introduced, and I personally, thanks to his handholding and encouragement. So what he has done is that he has pulled out of traditional academics, the so-called ivory tower of academics, and tried to embellish a relationship, a true proper relationship between academia and industry. For long, we have heard this academia-industry partnership, but it has never really fructified. And today only we were having a discussion, and sir was telling us that today we must break down the silos between academia and industry on one hand, and between the so-called traditional academic disciplines on the other hand, and we need all to become problem solvers in the true sense of the term. And that way we can leverage the digital methodology we have, including digital pedagogy, digital means, resources, and the digital way of leading life, as Dr. Bose has said and Professor Chopra has said, in a very, very meaningful way. I will not take any more time and request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Saikat Moitra, to take over the floor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Indranil Mukherjee, for introducing me and all my colleague, Dr. Professor Sujit Mukherjee, Mr. Chopra, Dr. Bose, who are connected with our university system in different ways. So you see, already this importance of earning from internet has been elaborated or has been deliberated by my previous speakers. Only I would like to add a few more points, that the thing is this: now in future world, earning from the internet may be the only option, because of the fact the thing is this, we are seeing this world is changing in such a way that we have to believe or we have to rely on our individual strength. And that's why learning from internet as well as earning from internet, it can be the major feature or maybe the sole feature for the human race in the future time to come. The fact is that there are many ways of for earning this from this internet. There can be certain ways where you require absolutely no skill. You may go for only clicking the websites and you can earn. Or you have to watch or browse some websites, you can earn. There are pay per click or pay to click. There are lots of things are there. At the same time, if you have certain qualities, you can showcase all these things through internet. Only thing, the mindset of it we need to develop. We need to develop our self-reliance on, we can do it, and we can also have economic, the self-sufficiency for us. That is required for our youngsters. The thing is this, the culture of earning by self, so that we can have a minimum dependence on our family members, on our parents, and all this, on the society. That needs to be, brought to our existing systems, which is prevalent in other countries, particularly developed countries. You see, still now, if till our, this highest level of education, we need to depend either on the parents or on the institute or on the, this government in some way of funding and sponsoring our entire things. Now, what we are saying that in near future, because of this abundance in opportunities, we can have maximum self-reliance. You see, for each and every profession is going to be transformed. And the dependence, I said earlier that our dependence on institution, that will be minimized or that will be vanished. Because of the thing is that there are lots of things. Whatever you require, you can learn from internet. And everything is changing so fast. Yesterday, we had a discussion on mathematics that people are talking about the syllabus and curriculum and all these things. The syllabus and curriculum may be one-time affair within a period of 3-4 years or 2 years. But within, there are lots of laws, most laws on laws, which are saying that exponentially the things are changing. That means within 2 days, maybe within 2 years, 2 months, 2 days, and maybe 2 hours, within 2 hours, the things will be changed. So whatever we are learning or whatever we are applying, that we have to look forward, we have to look for the future. And if we can capture the future, then we can get the benefit out of it. Medical profession, doctors, they need to use this internet for, applying their, the skills and all these things for earning. Even then the engineers, they need to use this internet, using, this, all this virtual reality and all these things and for earning from this internet. Educators, they need to use this internet by designing massive open online courses for earning from the internet. If you have any products, you can use this, this e-commerce or this digital market for earning from the internet. You have seen that probably that all of you have seen that the entire thing has been changed by Amazon, Flipkart, Uber, all these things. And every day, YouTubers and all these things, social media marketing, search engine optimizations, blog writings, then review. If you have any passion, earlier when we were students, movie watching was not considered a good things while you are students, because people are talking that that it is a wasteful exercise and you should focus on your studies. But now you can watch movie, you can write review, and by that way you can earn something. If you have a passion for reading storybooks, you can make a review. If you have a passion for browsing the internet, you can write reviews on these websites. There are lots of things, abundance of opportunities. Whatever you like, whatever you are capable of doing, you can do all these things through internet for earning. And earning, why I am emphasizing on earning? Because it is for the students only. You need to develop the culture of self-reliance. Self-reliance is economic self-reliance. You see, we know that when our students, they go to US for taking up higher studies, they need to earn a portion of their, this financial requirement by engaging themselves in different sorts of jobs, maybe working at, these petrol pumps, or maybe at a restaurant, or any odd jobs and all these things. Now here also, internet has opened up this opportunity. While staying at your home, you can earn all these things. You can do all these things. You can engage yourself for all these exercises. So this is the new culture, and by 2030, what I am seeing yesterday, I was going through one of the these courses designed by one University of Sydney, that is this future generation workplace for the future. And the thing is, there you need not to go anywhere. Only sitting at your place, you can learn, you can earn, and that is the world. That is the future world. Right now, we need to, these programs we have into this designed in such a way that those who are these real life practitioners of all these things, they have come forward to share their views. Today, Anindita Chatterjee, she is because we have chosen speaker like that, Subarna Bose, Mr. Pradeep Chopra, Ms. Anindita Chatterjee. They are entrepreneurs by themselves. They have they started something new out of the box, and they are presenting their cases and case studies. You learn from this. you get inspiration, get motivation. Only two things are required in my views. I always tell to my students and those who are surrounded, who are around me, that two things are required: your learning ability and positive mindset. This to look at the world from a positive perspective, that everything, what will happen, what is happening, that is for good, and what will be happening, that is also for good. So with this mindset and an ability to learn from different corners, from different bodies, from different things, and use all these things for earning. Earning means, earning is only symbolic here. Earning means to develop your self-competence and self-reliance. This is required. With this objective, we have designed these programs. I have seen some of these participants, they are still concerned of getting certificates or all these things. You see, certificates is secondary attributes. Only the major thing is how much you are learning from it. Certificates will be given. All of you will be getting certificates. No problem. I will give you certificates. if you are seriously, participating in all these programs, you will get certificates. That is not a concern. Concern is how much you are learning. Take a note of all these things. Some of you they express their concern that they have limited data. That is not a problem. Okay, you need not to watch all these things now. Everything will be uploaded or being streamed at YouTube's and all these things. From there, you can watch it further. So nothing is a constraint. Only thing, whether you are having positive mindset to learn and to apply all these acquired knowledges for betterment of you. That is the thing. So with this, I wish all of you are great learners and a great earner for the future. And I sincerely thank Anindita Chatterjee for coming over here, for presenting our all experiences. You will have the chance to interact with him, Professor Sujit Mukherjee, Professor Inder Mukherjee. They will interact with her, and they will get all this useful information from her for your benefit, and try to collect, and accumulate all this information for your own development. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. As always, Vice Chancellor sir has always broken with convention, and he always comes up with something that will make you think. No exception here. He's again saying something that is completely out of the box, and I'm sure many of our participants might be quite surprised by what they hear. Sitting at home, you can not only learn but also earn, and that is what is the prescription for the days to come. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on from here, let me now do a quick introduction of Ms. Anindita Chatterjee before I hand it over to her. Anindita Chatterjee is the founder of Travel Chatter, which is she's a travel influencer and is a super passionate globetrotter. Her adventures have taken her to 67 countries so far. That's a fabulous number, Anindita. She lives in Mumbai. She's a marketing leader and has worked on with companies like Unilever, Wellspun, and Rent-to-Kill. She's a motivational speaker and shares her life lessons learned traveling across the globe in various platforms. She also runs an NGO called Anubhav Foundation with her mother in Kolkata, which is what her connection to Calcutta is really. She is usually called a live wire, and she has been featured in radio channels, has her articles published in leading newspapers, magazines, and various digital platforms. And you can follow her adventures on @travel.chatter on Instagram. Okay, now with these words, I hand over proceedings to Anindita. And Anindita, may I request you to start presenting your story? And after a while, we will be asking you a few questions, and maybe you will also take a few questions from the delegates and the other participants who are present here. Okay, over to you, Anindita.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to almost 506 students. And of course, all of you here. I mean, I agree with each and every word that all of you spoke, Mr. Bose, Mr. Moitro, Mr. Chopra, all of you, as well as Mr. Mukherjee. And I am happy to share my learnings today, because I think as of today, I epitomize everything that you all spoke about. And I totally agree with every single word of what you said. So I will quickly share a presentation which I've made, and obviously feel free to put your questions in the chat box, or I'll probably take up the questions at the end of the presentation. Okay, so I hope all of you can see this.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll start with a little bit about me. Like Sujit said, I am a super passionate globetrotter, been to 67 countries to be precise. I am an adventure lover. I totally believe in pushing myself out of my comfort zone in whatever I do. Now, that doesn't just, of course, come in the form of travel, but also in terms of my career, my work life, day-to-day life. It's all, you learn only when you push yourself out of your comfort zone. You know, like they say, do the thing you fear the most, and the death of fear is certain. So that again gave rise to Travel Chatter. That's how Travel Chatter was founded, and I'll come to that later. I am a mother of 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs here in Mumbai, and of course a doting daughter. That's my family out there. I am born and brought up in Kolkata. I'm from Pratt Memorial School. I did my electrical engineering after that from Nagpur University, and then followed by an MBA from NMIMS. After which I have worked for 9 years as a marketeer in HUL in Unilever in Mumbai. Worked as a chief marketing officer in Welspun, and then in Pest Control India, which is now known as Rent-A-Kill. And like Sujit said, my parents and I, we run a NGO for slum children. It's a school for slum children called Anubhav Foundation in Khidagpur. Okay, now before I move on, there's just one thing I want you all to think about. So when we are talking about making money from the internet or using internet as a source for people to know about all that you can do, you have to first think about what is your passion. And all of us over here have a passion. For me, it's travel. For you, it could be reading books, it could be cooking, it could be anything. And like even Mr. Moitra was mentioning, that there is a lot today that can be done from the internet just based on your passion. Now, remember when I started Instagram and when I started my website, etc., as Travel Chatter, I had a full-time job. So a lot of us today keep saying, you know, where's the time? You know, I have a job, I have a family to look after, there are so many other things, but trust me, these are all excuses that we make to ourselves. If we are passionate enough and if we are serious about making a career, we have to figure out time to bring our passion alive as well. So while having a full-time career, I knew that travel is my passion, and hence I want to make something out of it. So basically, before I move on, please think about what your passion is and apply that to all the learnings that I speak about. Okay, now why do I travel? Now, you know, whenever I have traveled, there's something I tell everyone. Travel is not just about these stunning landscapes that I see or these amazing locals that I meet. It's a lot about the life lessons that I've learned from traveling. So, you know, travel really makes me feel alive. Nothing gives me more happiness than traveling. It fills my heart with gratitude. It's made me fearless. It has increased my risk-taking appetite, both in my career, in my professional life, and my personal life. It pushes me out of my comfort zone. And there are so many times when I travel, I have actually gone ahead and done the impossible. I had never really thought I could do that. So hence came a time when I was like, okay, if I am doing all this and if there is so much I'm learning, I'm evolving so much just out of my passion, then I must share my stories with the rest of the world. Where my objective now is to inspire everyone to chase their dreams and to follow their passion. And hence, Travel Chatter was born. So just to take you briefly through what all I have done so far. So I have gone to the jungles of Uganda and met mountain gorillas. I have done a solo bike trip of almost 500 kilometers in Portugal. I have trekked a glacier solo in Argentina. So the glacier that you see behind me, I've actually trekked that glacier. I have gone scuba diving, and let me tell you, I have, since my childhood, been afraid of the deep ocean. While I know swimming, but I've always been scared of swimming in the deep ocean. And as of today, I am an open water diver. So I pushed myself to become a diver just because I was scared of deep water. And today I can dive up to 60 feet below the ocean surface. Of course, skydiving, this is in the Amazon forest, fishing for piranhas. And this is jumping into waterfalls from a cliff in Costa Rica. This is again few pictures of the Amazon rainforest. This is in Peru, climbing the Rainbow Mountain, the Portugal bike trip, trekking Machu Picchu, doing an underground lava cave tour in Iceland, doing a lot of solo travel across the world and making lots of friends. And hence, travelchatter.in came into existence. Now, while today's talk going forward will be mostly focused on Instagram as a platform, but it's very important to not just be present on one platform. Because today, Instagram, YouTube, of course, is great, but you don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. So always, first, I would say, focus on building your own website. So my website is this, travelchatter.in. I spent almost 6 months in strategizing on how my website should look like, what elements should I have in it, what are the kind of things that I should talk about, what is it that I should say that will add value to my reader's life. It's not just about showing off about my travels. No, it's about how can I enable them to do the same. So always have that in your mind. So whatever be your passion, if you're going to start writing a website, first thing, ask yourself, the reader who's coming onto your website, what do you want him to take away? That's the most important thing. Always, always put yourself in your customer's shoes. The customer is at the heart of everything that you do. Keep that in mind. Now, when I launched travelchatter.in, it is, now your website has to be a personality of yourself. So, for me, I like bright colors. I like a lot of vibrancy, and you'll see that in the website. So again, another example as to why having a website, a digital platform, is very important, your own digital platform rather than Instagram, YouTube, etc., is because, when I started Instagram and I only had maybe 2,000 followers, even then I was making money. Why? Because I had a lot of traffic on my website. And I had hardly started doing SEO by then, but because I was getting a lot of organic traffic that time, I had a lot of countries, tourism, who wanted to tie up with me, wanted to invite me, wanted me to go and review restaurants and hotels, just based on the kind of review that I could give them on my website. So that is definitely a big, big bonus to have other than social media platforms. Now, building your brand. Now, obviously here we are all content creators. So what do we do? When you build your website, again, a few tips on how do you go about building your website. Always pick the right domain name, because remember, when you booked a domain name, you booked it and that's going to be your brand name. So always be very wise when you're choosing what website name will you have. Be genuine when you write. Now that's very important. Whether you're writing about food, whether you're writing about fitness, whether you're writing about anything, be genuine. Don't just write to please others. Okay, you have to be authentic, you have to be genuine, because that is what cuts across. And I think like Mr. Bose was mentioning that today anybody becomes a blogger, right? Anybody who writes can become a blogger. So the entry barrier is very low. So you have to think about, how do you cut through the clutter? How do you give content that is different from what the rest of the world is doing? And that's how you have to be prepared that the growth is going to be slow, but there will be growth. But ensure that you focus mostly on your content. Think about why you want to blog, why you want to have a website. Is it like a creative outlet? Is it an online portfolio? Figure out what your niche is. So for me, it's travel. I also talk about food. I also talk about fitness. I also talk about traveling with dogs, but it's mostly around travel. So figure out what your niche is and stick to that. There are various platforms, and I'm sure you all would know this. There are platforms like WordPress, Blogspot, Squarespace, etc., where you can figure out where you want to host your website. Now, this again is a very, very important part of your website, and I cannot stress enough about it. Remember, you are your most precious asset, and you have to market yourself. So in your website, you have to have a work with me section, or a section which talks about all your achievements. So yes, you have to shamelessly market yourself over here, because when brands come onto my website, I want them to see that why they should tie up with me. So here I will talk about the fact that yes, I am a part of the Outstanding Speakers Bureau. I have been with RJ Rishike live on radio. Like as of last week, I was featured by Miss Malini as the most promising content creators of 2021. So I want all of that to be mentioned here, so that anybody who comes to my profile sees that. So the highlights have to be here. So once you've made your website, so your website is like your own store. It's like your own house where you're going to invite people. Now, whatever you do on Instagram, whatever you do on Facebook, whatever you do on YouTube, at the end of the day, you want to divert traffic into your website, right? So Instagram and Facebook are basically, I would say, platforms to get people onto your website. So the next section will be mostly about how do you attract followers, and what did I do? I'll talk about my growth story. How did I reach the 14.1K followers and the 20,000 followers that I have on Facebook? How did I reach that today? So one of the most important thing on Instagram is creating the right profile. You have to focus on your bio. So this section on Instagram is where your bio is. Now, you have limitation on the number of letters that you can use, but you have to be very precise, and you have to You remember that anybody who comes to your profile, you only have 3 seconds. The person probably will just spend 3 to 5 seconds on your profile. What are the main keywords that you can use which will make them follow you, right? You only have one chance. If I have come to your profile and I don't find it very interesting, I probably will not come back. So what have I written? I have written a passionate world traveler, 67 countries. I'm here to inspire positivity. I'm a CMO. I have been featured in Economic Times, Thrilophilia, etc. And this is my email. Now, again, that is very important because if you're making money, if your future plan is to make money from this platform, you need to give people a call to action. You need to let people know that this is how they can reach you. So it's very important to have these details on your Instagram profile. Also, always add a link to your website. So over here on Instagram, there is a place where you can add your link. I have the Miss Malini's Promising Content Creators feature here, but otherwise it's always my website so that I can again divert traffic into my website. Another important thing about Instagram is you must always, if you're looking at becoming a content creator, switch from a personal private profile to a business account. It is nothing. It just is one setting that you have to go and change in your settings, and it's really, really easy. So always do that, because the moment you switch to a business account, you figure out all the insights. So today I know out of these 14.1K followers, how many are from India, how many are from US. I also have followers from Iran. I have followers from Australia. So I know country-wise, I know the demographics where I'm getting my followers from. Also in India, I know whether I'm getting more from Bombay, Calcutta, Delhi, which city, and hence I can cater to them and curate my content accordingly. So it's extremely important to have that. And always make sure your profile looks very bright, because if you have really dark pictures or you don't have pictures that really stand out, people will not want to follow you. And this page is your only chance of making or growing your Instagram followers, and hence eventually also growing your YouTube followers, Facebook, as well as your website traffic. Now, like I said, make the most of your stories and post by looking at your insights. So the moment you have changed from a private profile to a business profile, you get all of this. You get to see which day of the week your followers are live, which time of the day should you post, what is the gender bifurcation, what is the age group, all of that Instagram is already feeding you. So make the most of that. Use stories a lot. So if you go to my Travel Chatter Instagram profile, you will even currently see a lot of stories on Ukraine, because I just got back from a 10 days holiday in Ukraine. A lot of stories on Chernobyl. Now, the moment you put stories and you put a particular content and you see that it's working, so obviously I get to see how much engagement am I getting, how many views am I getting, and hence probably I'll try and put in more Chernobyl stories, because I know people are really interested to know about what happened in the biggest nuclear disaster in history. So based on the kind of reactions that you're getting from your followers, keep changing your content. For Instagram story, you can use templates like Canva, Unfold. They're all really good. Again, tag relevant people. Instagram gives you the liberty to tag people. So if I had been invited by, Malta was my 60th country and I was invited by Malta Tourism. So if I'm putting up pictures on Malta, I will tag them to ensure that they know that I'm doing the story on them. Or Ukraine was a holiday, but I probably might want Ukraine Tourism to know that this is what I have done, because in the future, I'm looking at brand collaborations. So I will tag Ukraine Tourism as well. Hashtags, of course, I'm sure all of you over here have an Instagram profile and you know a lot works on hashtags. Even on your Instagram stories, you can use hashtags. Again, very important, whatever content you're creating on Instagram, ensure you share it on all your platforms, be it Facebook, be it WhatsApp. So even WhatsApp has a WhatsApp status where you can keep uploading stories. Just ensure, basically the point is, that's how you maximize your reach. Wherever you know you have people who are looking forward to what you're doing tomorrow, looking forward to knowing what brand you are using, whether it's paid or not paid, you want to share your story everywhere. Work on trending topics. You could also save your story as highlights on your profile. And at times, keep posting content from other users. So network a lot. Again, that is very important. Be a people's person. Network a lot within your industry. And post content from others. It's all about supporting others and growing together. Instagram also has a lot of features like face filters, boomerangs. Now, whenever I use those features on my stories, the engagement definitely goes up. These are few story formats that I've shared over here. So for example, in order to increase engagement on any platform, right, be it YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you want people to engage more with you. You want people to write to you more. So Instagram has this feature called Ask Me Anything. So basically, it's about telling your followers that they can ask you anything today. Use that quite a bit so that your followers get to know you. They have to know you're a real person, right? Not a out of reach celebrity, not somebody who's inaccessible. So ensure that you answer everyone's questions, reply to everyone's comments. That's very important. Then at times in your stories, of course, just if you've gone to a country, so I was in Georgia and this is the setting and I want to just show that on my story about what I'm doing. Again, another interesting thing is keep doing different things, keep innovating. So when the pandemic struck, obviously I would not travel anymore, right? And for me, social media is work. So if I don't have much of travel content, how much of things will I post from my house? While yes, I did start experimenting a lot with a lot of things at home, which also I would keep posting, but then you also want to keep innovating. And hence I started a live session called Travel Chatter Live, where every Thursday I was going live at a particular time with a speaker. Now that speaker can be from any genre. So one Thursday I got a psychologist. One Thursday I got a paranormal investigator. Then one day I got a chef, and one day I got a LinkedIn professional. One day I got a CEO of a big company. So I wanted to share their success stories and their failures with everyone, with all my followers. And somehow that clicked really, really well. So I would have people, so there are times when, by Monday or Tuesday, I would have people writing to me that, okay, we are waiting for Thursday and please ensure that you do it at a time when I can join. And that would feel really, really good because, I was like, okay, people are really liking this live session when it actually did not have anything to do with travel. But it was something through which both me and my entire Instagram family were learning something. At the end of the live session, they had a lot of takeaways. So keep innovating, keep figuring out what is it that you can do next. Now, I'm also a storyteller. I also do a lot of, like I said, motivational talks as well as storytelling in public forums. So also that is something that I would want to talk on my stories, on my Instagram stories, not just about travel, but also different aspects of my life. Now, once all this is done, how do you increase engagement? So as you know, followers, while yes, a lot of people have 1 million followers, 500K followers, 80K followers, etc. But what is most important, what brands look at, and I can say this because I have been on both sides of the table. I've also been a marketer where I have tied up with influencers. So I know what a brand looks for when they tie up with influencers and why would I want to pay money to that influencer? What is most important is your engagement rate. Now that's extremely important. While yes, number of followers is great, but what is the kind of engagement he or she is getting? So these are few hacks that I am telling you all, which I have learned being on Instagram for the last 3 or 3.5 years now. Be very active. Now, consistency is the name of the game for everything. So if you want to make it big on Instagram, you want to grow your followers, you have to be consistent. It's not like this that you post today and then you don't think of posting for the next 1 week. Similarly on YouTube, if you plan to launch a video on YouTube once a week, you have to stick to once a week. The moment there is irregularity, then the algorithm of Instagram is such that they will know that you are not very regular, and hence your videos or your pictures will not be shown to that many people. Learn from your best performing content. So whichever platform you're on, see what is working really, really well, and then make content accordingly. So for example, my dogs, other than travel, whenever I post, and if you look at my Instagram profile, whenever I post with my dogs, I get very good engagement. So I know dogs and travel are something that appeals to my customer. Hence, I will curate my content accordingly. Use all hashtags, make the most of all your hashtags, choose the right hashtags, geotag your images, that's very important. Keep experimenting with your caption. There are times when long captions will work, there are times when a very short caption can work, so keep experimenting. Videos, now this again, I can't stress enough. Videos get almost 5 times more engagement than photos. So while a lot of us might not be, comfortable with making videos or talking to the camera, it's fine. Even if you are not talking to the camera, you can probably shoot something and talk in the background. But always remember videos, like I learned this the hard way because I started videos a lot later. But again, today my videos have get a lot more engagement than any photo does. Always include a call to action. So you want people to know that what you want them to do. So forget about response. A lot of us, we are scared about whether a particular thing will do well or not. So the fear of failure. So a lot of you might be thinking, okay, while I love cooking, but maybe what will I do starting an Instagram page? I have so many people who are doing so much more. Let that go. Do not think about response. You think about creating content. What the response is, what the engagement is, all that will follow. Social media is always slow growth. So you have to have a lot of patience. And there are times you could also promote your Instagram posts and stories. And, of course, for me, like I said, it's been 3.5 years and I have a YouTube channel as well. I have my website and, of course, Instagram and Facebook. But, obviously it takes a while because when you have a full-time job, it gets very difficult to focus so much on this as well. But again, where there is a will, there is always a way. And I keep saying this to everyone. So, you figure out that, okay, probably you have done something right. So I must share this with you all that it was just it was in the month of November. I had, like I said, I'd gone to do my open water diving course in Maldives. And I was in this really secluded island, which was a 1 kilometer long island. And hardly 150 people live on that island. And obviously because of COVID, I wanted to stay in a remote place and I was learning my diving there. And there was this couple from Germany who actually walked up to me and recognized me as Travel Chatter. They come and asked me, aren't you Travel Chatter? And weren't you in Taj Exotica? So just before that, I had a brand collaboration with Taj Exotica in Maldives. So I was there. So they knew exactly where I was in Maldives before coming to that island. They knew the names of my dogs and they knew everything about me. Now that is so gratifying because, then you figure out that, on this remote island, if I have a couple from Germany who comes and recognize me, then I'm definitely probably doing something right because they happen to love my content. So always have faith in what you're doing. Don't give up. The first few months or maybe the first year, engagement could be very low. And, you get disheartened, ki kuch nahi ho raha hai, what's the point doing this? But again, always be consistent and do not give up. Now, moving on, the last few slides where it is about how do you reach out to brands. So at the end of the day, yes, while you are present on Instagram, YouTube, etc., how are you making money? So obviously you're making money when you're tying up with brands. So a very important thing is you make a media kit. You should have a work portfolio, which talks all about the things that you have done and how much traffic can you generate for them. Always remember that you have to show the brand what's in it for them and why should they tie up with you. Pitch only to relevant brands. Again, just because you want to make money as an influencer, don't just pitch to everyone. Make sure that the brand that you are pitching to, you believe in that brand. That's very important. So over here, if you see, this was in New York. Airtel had tied up with me. They had reached out to me where they wanted me to promote international roaming for Airtel. And I had tied up with them that, okay, I'll do this many number of posts and this is the amount they should pay me. So it's about how innovative can you get with your caption, how subtly you can integrate the brand into your content. You don't want to really push the content on your viewer's face as well. Again, remember when you write to brands and when you start, don't get disheartened. You'll write to 100 brands, probably only 10 will respond. But again, like I said, consistency and keep at it. Don't oversell your deliverables. So if I know that I don't have time to shoot a video for that brand, I will not promise them that. Tag the brands you want to collaborate with. And when you start earning from the internet, when you have brands reaching out to you, now there are two options. Either you do a barter collaboration where they give you their product and you talk about them on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, or they pay you for it. So usually it's a mix of both. And when you start off, it will be a lot of barter. So keep that in mind as well. These are a few brand collaborations that I have done. So this is a restaurant in Bombay where I had gone to review them. So again, remember the focus over here is the food. It wasn't really me. So I ensured that the photography, again, guys, every post, if you go to my Instagram profile right now, Travel Chatter, every post is so much of hard work, you have no idea. It's not just kuch bhi photo le liya aur laga diya. Nahin. I probably will take 20 shots to get that one shot right. I will have to obviously look at editing my pictures a little bit, like for example, brightening them if they are really dark, etc. You have to think of the right caption. You have to think of the right hashtags. You have to think of what story you want to tell through your pictures. So every like, every comment that comes means the world to us influencers, because we know how much hard work goes behind each and every picture. So this was another brand collaboration with a food brand called Yoga Bar. Now, obviously, because I know that my dogs get good engagement, I wanted to get one of my dogs into this picture where I wanted to show people about how she's enjoying these bars as well. And this was with a Forex card in New York again. So just summarizing my recipe, do a lot. So again, over here, I'm talking about Instagram. Do a lot of Instagram lives. So basically, in whatever features Instagram gives you, make the most of it. Do a lot of videos. Now Instagram gives you IGTV as well as Reels. Make the most of that. Take a basic photography course if you need to. Collaborate with other creators. Look at your insights, extremely important, and strategize. Now, it's not that I wake up this morning and I realize, acha, aaj ye post karna hai, kal wo post karna hai. No, I have a full schedule. I know in the entire week which day I'm going to post a reel, which day I'm going to post a post, which day I'm going to post a story or an IGTV. So make a full calendar. I mean, you have to realize that social media is not just sidekick fun. This is serious business. So if you really want to make money out of it, you have to strategize, you have to get serious about it and plan it well. Do a lot of publicity amongst your network. So whenever you have a blog or something live on your website, ensure you tell as many people about it, because nothing sells better than word of mouth, right? So you want to reach out to as many people. Encourage people to comment, because that really, really helps in your engagement and gets your reach higher. And most important, be prepared for slow growth. And before I end, I would also like to tell you all this, that earning from the internet takes a lot of time and it is sporadic. Not that it's not like having a corporate job where you know that, okay, every month this is the amount of money I'm making. So while you are all young students and tomorrow, obviously you are going to be brilliant citizens of the country where you're going to be, having some big career in front of you. All that I'm saying is focus on, like I said, I worked for 16 years and after which I quit my job and now I do travel chatter full time. But again, I would say definitely focus on your studies, focus on your content, focus on whatever you want to learn in life, figure out what you want to do, right? Earning from the internet is sporadic. So you might want to have a full-time job and at the same time do this till you gain some momentum. Because right from the beginning, if you go and tell your parents that, okay, I'm not going to do any job, I'm going to become a blogger. Trust me, that's not the way you want to start. Because today I've traveled to 67 countries because I had a full-time job. I needed money to travel to these countries, right? I've traveled extensively in India as well. If I was just focusing on internet and the sporadic earnings that I have, then I wouldn't have been able to follow my passion, which is travel. My passion isn't Instagram. My passion is travel, right? And that's what I'm bringing alive through Instagram, through YouTube, through LinkedIn. So focus on your career, guys. That's the most important thing. I can't stress on that enough. And of course, if you have to reach out to me, if you have anything that you have to ask me, this is where I'm available. So on Instagram, I'm travel.chatter, on Facebook, as travel chatter, and this is my email address. That's my website. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. We'll take up questions now and even later. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Anindita. That was a brilliant presentation you made. Very interesting. I was watching it, rapt attention, no looking away anywhere. Very interesting presentation. And wow, you have taken us around the globe almost. You have taken us to very, kind of dreamy locations, if I might say that. Wonderful presentation. Let me congratulate you on that. There are a few questions. I'm sure there are many questions, but then can I ask you something?
Sure, of course. Go ahead.
Give us a little bit of idea about, you said that it does not happen overnight. You have got to be patient, and maybe you had an overlap with your job, and when you started doing Instagram and you started following your passion for travel. So how long was this overlap? When you had a job and you're not too sure that you can switch completely from the job to follow your passion, which you did. So how long did it take you to switch to your passion completely?
So like I said, I have 16 years of work experience and in a senior corporate role. I have been passionate about traveling since I was a little child. Obviously born to Bengali parents, And my parents, I tell my parents I've got it from them. I've got it in my genes to travel.
Right.
So as a child, I would keep traveling a lot. But of course, even when I started traveling, once I started earning, I really never thought that I would be able to make money out of traveling.
Correct.
So it took me a while, because it gets very difficult when you have a leadership role and at the same time doing something. And while it's easier said than done that I do both, but it does get difficult. So I think for almost 5 years, I did it together simultaneously. I was trying to balance Travel Chatter as well as my full-time job. And it was only beginning of last year actually, that I decided, okay, fine, I want to take a break and I want to travel more and focus on creating content. And I think the pandemic has been really good, because now everybody's on the internet all the time, right?
That is right.
Yeah, so people are scrolling their social media every now and then. So this is the time when influencers like us need to leverage that and put good content out there.
Right. Anindita, you must have had a very supportive family, I mean, without this, it would be very difficult, I would imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely. My parents have always been very, very supportive. And they've always given me the freedom to decide what I want to do. Even when I wanted to go for my engineering or my MBA, it was all my choice. And yeah, of course, you need your parents' support at all this. Otherwise, you will, at a young age, when you're 23, 24 years old, obviously you're totally guided by your parents. You definitely want to make them happy, and you want to do what they want you to do. But it's also about, if I would tell my parents, okay, this is what I want to do, not that they would tell me, yes, go ahead and do it. No, they would tell me the pros and cons, and then I decide what I want to do. But not that they would tell me, okay, this can happen as well, this could go wrong as well. Are you okay for it? Are you prepared to take on the challenge? So that's very important.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, the most important word that I picked out from your deliberation is that passion. It is all about passion. Your passion, you have to invent what your passion is.
Right.
And once you follow that, there's no going back.
Yeah,
and it's not the platform, but the passion that is more important. Would you bear me out?
Exactly. And for me, when I started traveling, and I'm even talking about as early as 2010, I'm not even going back to my childhood, but even then, I never had social media in my mind. So when I used to travel, it was for myself, because I love it. It was about living the experience. Like, there are few countries, I tell people, Iceland is one of my favorite countries. I don't even have good pictures, because that time I would never focus on pictures. I never knew that I'll be starting Travel Chatter or anything like that. But today, of course, wherever I go, it is work. For me right now, traveling is work as well. So like, that's what I said. First, figure out what your passion is, work towards it. And it is a lot of hard work. It's not that, okay, become a food blogger, you just take pictures of good food and put it up. No, there is a lot of hard work that goes on behind this.
Right. I mean, if I could use this term, it's not a frivolous engagement with a particular social media platform. And many people tend to think that, you got to engage with a social media platform casually in a frivolous manner and put up something that you like once in a while and, be noticed for that and get paid for that. But that's not how it works.
Exactly.
As you see, you have to put in a real good hard work at the end of the day to get noticed and to, start earning from the net, as it were.
Absolutely. When I started off in 2016, I think is when I launched my website. I had never really thought that there will come a day when I'll have strangers in another country recognizing me, or being featured in so many platforms, getting interviewed by so many platforms. I never really thought. But if that has happened, then probably, I'm moving in the right direction, and that's what's important. So, yeah.
Now, can I ask you a slightly uncomfortable question?
Sure.
Are you happy with the earnings you're getting from the internet? Or would you rather look back and say that my job with Unilever was a more paying job?
Absolutely. Definitely. I'm not even getting paid half as much as I was getting paid as a CMO, because a CMO role was a very senior role.
Yeah.
But again, when I quit my job, I knew that I'm not just doing this for money. Obviously, if I have to make as much money as I was making my job, that's going to take a while, and I have to be patient. But there's one thing that you have to realize: before making that much money, what you have to work on is your brand. Today, I know in the last 10 months, my brand engagement has gone up by leaps and bounds, because in the last 10 months of pandemic, I have, like I said, really, really focused and worked hard on publicizing Travel Chatter. So that's what is most important today. While in terms of monetary gains, yes, if I want to make that much money, I should go back to my corporate job. And here earning is very sporadic. It's not every day that I know, okay, this month I'm going to get this much. But it's nice to know that I also have this alternate source of income. And as long as I can sustain, it's great. Of course, I always have a choice of going back to my corporate life. And I don't think my corporate life was bad. I thoroughly enjoyed my corporate life as well. So like I'm saying, right now I'm doing Travel Chatter full time, but it depends. Maybe a year later, like right now, I even have a team. I have 2 or 3 people that I've employed to help me with Travel Chatter.
Okay.
So, so maybe next year, if I make more money and I grow my team, then I can even go back to my job because I have more hands and legs to help me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
One more question, Anindita, I would like to ask you. Being a marketing professional myself, I'm from the domain of marketing myself. So, and you appear to have done your MBA from Nasi Monji, right?
Yes.
So, how much value would you attach to your learnings of branding from your student days as an MBA student? Is it helping you?
So I would say, for me, it was very important that a lot of people, when they finish their engineering or their post-graduation, usually their graduation, sorry, immediately after that, they do their MBA, right? Usually, whether you want to do a BCom, BA, BE, whatever, right after that, you go into your MBA. I think one of the good things that I did in hindsight was that I did not do my MBA right after that. I worked for a few years and then did my MBA. While, in my college, in my engineering college, everyone, 90% of people were either giving CAT or GRE. And I was like, no, I want to start working and I want to understand the need of doing an MBA. It's not that just I'm doing it because the entire world is doing it and I want that MBA stamp on my CV. No, let me understand the need. Now, in India, unfortunately, doing an MBA is really, if you're an MBA, you're held in a much higher pedestal than a non-MBA. And that's mostly in India, not in many other countries. But that helps because, of course, it's not just the stamp. It also matters which university you have done it from and how you are obviously using those learnings in your day-to-day work life. But I think for me, because I did it almost after 4 years of working in Unilever, after which I did a part-time MBA. So my MBA was a working executive MBA. So I was working at the same time doing my classes in the weekends. And I think that really helped me because I could then relate a lot more to what the professors were saying. Like for me, like I was very bad in finance, really bad in finance. But for me to understand the P&L and to understand how I can, as a marketer, how do I contribute towards the P&L of my company, it was very important to get my basics right, which I got from my MBA. So I would say, yes, there were a lot of learnings from my MBA, which I could apply as well. But I think for me, it was better to do it after having worked for a few years.
Okay, a different question now. Now, you have traveled to 67 countries, to be precise.
Yes.
Which has been your most favorite country?
Iceland. Iceland has been my most favorite, but Argentina, again, is a very close competitor.
Why do you say that? Can you elaborate?
Oh, just because, I think any country becomes your favorite based on the kind of experiences you have there. While Iceland is stunning, it's gorgeous, but it again depends. If somebody goes to Iceland and has a bad experience, then Iceland, they will not like it so much. So I think the experience makes the country good, not just the landscape and the people. So it's just the kind of people I have interacted with in Iceland. I remember in my geography classes in school, in the world map, we had given, you were asked to color countries, and I used to color Iceland. I used to be like, wow, this is right up there, so close to North Pole. I wish I could go there someday. So, going to Iceland was like such a big achievement for me that this is a big, big dream come true. And whatever you read in your geography books, right from seeing tectonic, like, you know that right under you, there are the tectonic plates that are meeting. You see geysers, you see volcanoes. I mean, everything. You see glaciers. And I mean, whatever you study about in your geography book, you see that live in Iceland. And I think that was a superb experience. And Argentina, again, was a solo trip. And a lot of people had told me that, how could you go to Argentina solo? And South America is so unsafe, etc. But again, media paints countries to be a lot darker than what they actually are. And people are not that bad anywhere. Of course, you have to be safe. You can't go to notorious neighborhoods where the neighborhood is not good. And so is the case even in India. But as long as you stay safe, I think every country is fantastic.
Anindita, what do you ideally showcase in your postings on Instagram? Is it the landscape or the world-seeing sites, or is it more to do with the traditional things or the ethnic things that you find in the different countries? What is it that sells really?
So I do a mix of all of this, but the main thing that I focus on are the offbeat experiences. So usually when I choose my countries, I don't really go to the very touristy locations. I try and pick up offbeat countries, and in those offbeat countries, really offbeat locations which people haven't even heard about. So it's those offbeat experiences that I talk about. So I just went to Ukraine, and a lot of other people must have been to Ukraine as well. But I do a lot of research, and of course I do that because I'm so passionate. But I found out that when you're in Ukraine, you can actually crawl into a manhole and go into a secret Soviet Cold War bunker, which is left untouched since 1990. So when they left the bunker, it's kept as is. And there's this person who can take you there, and it's absolutely secret. So I found that out, and I did that. And then I went into underground river tunnels. We were walking into river tunnels which were 50 meters below the ground. Now, these are really, really offbeat experiences which not a regular tourist would do. So I focus a lot on how I find them, what do they cost, and how it is easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So it's about telling people, like I said, enabling people to travel and to do a lot of these offbeat things.
I picked up another word from what you were just saying, a lot of research. So it's not just about your passion, but then researching your passion and getting deeper into the subject, which raises very many questions, and that's how you kind of find out alternatives to showcase, isn't it?
Right, absolutely.
So how much is research interest? Involved in all this?
Oh, a lot. I think everything starts with research, right? So for me, if I know I'm going to a country, so when I had a job, a lot of people ask me firstly, how have I managed to travel to so many countries while having a full-time job? So I would make my holiday calendar right from the beginning of the year. So in January of the year, I know exactly where I'm going, which month, and not just me, my boss, my subordinates, my peers, everybody would know my holiday calendar. And of course, I would ensure I don't plan my holidays in the middle of a launch or in the middle of a major conference that we have, etc. Now, after having done that, I know exactly which country I'm going where, when, and at least 2 to 3 months in advance, I would start doing the research, where I would read up everything, and everything is done by me. I don't usually go through a travel agent in India. So right from what are the things to do over there, what are the touristy things, what are the non-touristy things, where can I get the best local food, where can I get the best souvenirs, and all the experiences, whether I should do a road trip, whether I should take local transport. And of course, during COVID, if I'm traveling, I have to be extra careful to be safe. So the research starts at least 3 months in advance.
Maybe, Anindita, I'm tempted to believe that even we in the university are running a program on travel and tourism.
Okay.
So I was wondering if it's a possibility that we could, kind of tie up with you in some informal manner and, take advantage of your experience of having traveled to so many countries. And maybe many of our students would love to hear from you firsthand about your experiences. It's all experience that counts in tourism, I think.
Absolutely. Sure. I'm more than happy to be. I keep telling everyone, it's not just about seeing so many countries. When I was 23 and I just started earning, obviously that time I didn't have money myself to travel to other countries. That time my father would fund it, right? So it's not about just going abroad. When you love traveling, you love seeing every nook and corner of the city you live in. So when I came to Bombay, despite having been in Bombay for so many years, I realized there are so many places in Bombay which I'd never even heard about, and they are beautiful. There are so many offbeat things to do in this very city. There are so many weekend getaways around Mumbai, even around Calcutta, which could be a 2-3 hours drive, which we haven't even heard of, right? So it's all about when you do that research, you find out where you can go. So when you start with researching your own city. I mean, India itself has just so much to offer. So when you are passionate about traveling, start like this. Only later can you go ahead and, of course, see other countries as well. But I just think India by itself is a fabulous country and lots to see here.
Closer home, Anindita, how do you rate the travel and tourism options for West Bengal? How do you look at West Bengal as a destination for tourism? What do you think should be done, or what's wrong with it? Are we really up there with the other states or other places of tourist attraction?
So no, I don't think we are up there yet. I think West Bengal is wonderful. I mean, having grown up there and all my life, I think 18 years of my life traveling so much around West Bengal, and all the Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Karsiong, every place that's there around Calcutta. I mean, I've been there so many times, and they are so pretty. But I just think it's very underrated. It's very. I think the tourism in West Bengal need to do a lot more marketing, which is not currently done. So while, yes, we are sitting with...
You said it. It means a lot more marketing.
Places, but it's just not, we don't reach out to the right people in the right way. I think if we do that, West Bengal has a lot of scope to grow a lot in terms of their tourism numbers.
Have you done anything on West Bengal specifically?
I have traveled extensively in West Bengal, but I've not done any paid collaborations with West Bengal yet.
Do you have any plans to do anything?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Given a chance, I would love to. My state, I would love to
Okay.
promote it.
Okay, final question that I want to ask you is, what would you like to, finally say to our viewers, young students mostly, who are watching you on your show? What are your last words of advice to them?
Well, I would say, all of us, of course, have dreams. We all want to make our dreams come true. But I just want you guys to understand that there's only one difference between those people who make their dreams come true and those who don't. And that is the courage to start and the courage to keep going. So I think all of us have to put our best foot forward. And this is your age. I mean, all of you have your entire life ahead of you. This is the time when you have to focus on what you really want to do in life. Ask yourself what you really want to do. A lot of us don't have clarity on that. And at your age, probably when I didn't have clarity. And hence, looking back, I can give you this advice. Ask yourself, where is it that you want to excel? What is it that you want to do? Because nobody other than you can answer that question. And live life, of course, to the fullest. Remember, you have only one life, but if you live it right, once is enough. So all the best to all of you. And thank you so much for being here today.
Anindita, would you like to share your contact details so that people who want to get in touch with you directly and want to ask you more questions can actually do so directly without having to wait for the program to answer all the questions?
Sure. So like I said, I am very active on Instagram. So you can all come to my, see my profile. That's travel.chatter on Instagram. And you can DM me, you can message me. I'm extremely active on Instagram. That's the easiest way to reach out to me. And of course, my email address, like I shared, is Anindita Chat, ANINDITACHATT@gmail.com. So I'm more than happy to answer your questions. But yeah, Instagram is the quickest way to reach me.
I'll just take a quick look through what questions have been raised. There are a few questions, I think. So just have a quick look at what the questions are. Well, I have a question here. It's from Ronit Roy, who's saying, I run my own Instagram account having 11K plus followers and having more than 1 million likes in various social media.
Wow.
Will I get a good career with it sometime? I've started these just 3 months back.
Oh, okay.
Ronit, keep listening.
That's great. Ronit, if you've started this 3 months back and you've reached here, I mean, kudos to you. Really, really well done. Of course you will. But like I said, focus more on engagement. I could probably have a look at your profile on Instagram and give you some tips, but focus a lot on creating good content, creating different kind of content and getting your engagement high. And of course, you need to pitch to the right brands. And once brands take notice of what you're doing, you can definitely make money out of it. But just have patience, have a lot of patience.
Slightly difficult question here from Shomadip Ray. He's asking, I'm 38 years. I've had 10 years of experience. I lost my job in Corona period from an MNC. So I'm looking for a job right now. How will this help me?
This again depends on, of course, like I said, this topic is about earning from the internet. So I don't know whether you already have any profile on the internet or on social media, or is there anything that you want to talk about? But yes, in terms of looking for a job, if you're looking at a corporate job, then definitely, as far as the internet is concerned, the world is your window, right? I mean, you have, it's a window to the world. So you can figure out your options in terms of what you really need to do. A lot of companies have Instagram profiles as well. And obviously LinkedIn is one of your best platforms where you can write to the companies directly if you're interested. But if you think that you have the caliber and you have the potential to grow a brand, your own brand on Instagram, this is the best time to start because you have time in hand and this time will never come back. Once you get a job, you're again going to be busy with your daily life. So I would say this is the best time to start something of your own.
Okay. We have a question here from Ritam Mishra who is saying, ma'am, it's been a really great to have someone so much experience like you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you are a traveler by heart, I have a small question. What about the money and funding that we need to visit foreign countries?
Okay, so very, very interesting question. I get this question asked all the time. So, like I said at the beginning, if you love traveling, explore your own country, explore your own neighborhood, explore your city. There is just so much you will discover. Now, as you grow in your professional life and you start making more money, you probably will have the spending power to travel abroad. Now, when you travel abroad, now obviously I don't spend my entire salary on traveling. Of course, I save money as well, and then I figure out, okay, this is the budget that I've got left, which I'm going to travel with. Now, there are a lot of hacks and tips which probably I can take up in another session, but there are a lot of tips and hacks that I follow in order to ensure that I don't spend much when I travel abroad. So, just a few tips could be, I travel to countries during the off season when I know the cost will be a lot lesser than going during the peak season. I am pretty flexible about where I want to go. So if I know that Holi is coming up in March and it's a long weekend for me, Monday is off because it's Holi. If I take 2 days off, I get a 5 days week. So a 5 days holiday. So if I'm traveling for 5 days, I will figure out in March which country is giving me the best rate when it comes to tickets, because your tickets are your maximum pie of your spends. So you have to first book your tickets and then you can plan everything else later. So that's how, so there's like this, there are a lot of other hacks that I usually follow in order to ensure that you won't believe there are a lot of countries which are supposed to be very expensive, but it's an unbelievable budget how I have done that country. So I guess after traveling so much, I've become an expert at that by now.
Well, Saida Khatun wants to ask you, could you please tell us, like, when is the most active time for posting, or the amount of post for a day which has a chance of getting really a good engagement?
Okay, so that totally depends on your profile and how active you have been. So for me, I usually post once every day. I try and post once every day. So basically, 6 days a week I post. I at times also post 7 days a week. Totally depends on the engagement that I'm getting for that week. In India, mostly the best time to post, and again, this I'm saying from my insights, is in the evening. So my maximum engagement starts from 6 p.m. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. is my window where I have maximum engagement. So that is when I post. But again, it totally depends on your profile. You will need to see based on your followers, where are your followers coming from, which geography are they coming from. Based on that, whether they are working professionals, whether they are non-working professionals, it'll depend on a lot of that, which is the best time. But usually in India, it's between 6 to 9 p.m. And how many a day? So they say that you should be really, really active on Instagram. So a lot of my very, very popular celebrity influencer friends who have over 1 million followers probably, they keep telling me, do 2 to 3 posts a day if you have content. But I haven't started doing that yet. I at times could do 2 posts a day, but more than that, I think could be an overdose. So this is why I stick to doing 1 post a day.
Okay. Shulagna Bhuya wants to ask, are there any other ways to make money from Instagram except collaboration or PR reviews?
Collaboration and PR reviews are the primary ways that you can make money on Instagram, because usually brands tie up with you and they want you to promote them on Instagram. But of course, you could also, so I have heard that IGTV, so IGTV is the Instagram TV, right? So IGTV is very soon going to get monetized. So I've heard this because I am a part of a program called as Born on Instagram. So I'm basically a part of Instagram team, kind of coaches us once in 3 months, where they tell us how our profile is performing, etc. So very soon IGTV is going to get monetized. So from there, again, just like YouTube, just like how you make money from YouTube, you could also make money from your IGTVs. So that is going to launch quite soon, is what I've heard. But other than that, of course, it's mostly brand collaborations right now.
Sir, would you like to ask a question?
No, there are. I think we are taking the questions from the question answer. They are posted at this forum.
Yes, the Q&A, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Continue with this.
Okay. Fine. Okay, one question here is from Shiv Prakash Shivam, who is saying, thank you, ma'am, for inspiring us and sharing your knowledge. I just want to know what we can earn, that we can earn money from Instagram without advertisement of different brand products. If I just upload important video, can I earn if I have large number of followers?
Okay, so if you have large number of followers, obviously you're not going to earn anything just by posting your content. But what's happening is when as much as you're posting your content, more people are going to know about you, and more people are going to be waiting for your content the very next day. So when you tie up with a brand, and obviously again, You're going to be making money on Instagram only when you tie up with a brand. And it's not just Instagram. So for example, when I tie up with brands, there's a deal that you do. So it'll be so many posts on Instagram, so many stories on Instagram, could be a YouTube video, could be a Instagram reel. So there'll be different deliverables that you will have even within Instagram for that particular brand, right? And of course, right now, Instagram is the most popular social media platform after YouTube in terms of brand collaborations, right? Not so much Facebook. So, so obviously, it's about ensuring that you keep getting very high engagement scores with your content, so that when you tie up with brands, you can show them, okay, this is my engagement rate. I have 6%, 7% engagement rate, and hence brands will want to tie up with you.
Okay, a slightly different kind of a question from Sonu Bhomik. Now, I think it's he or she, I'm not very sure. He's saying that I have a passion for keeping aquarium fishes around the world. The student.
Wow.
I tried making YouTube videos and also been active in Instagram with posts almost every day, but I did not get enough engagement, as this kind of hobby are really expensive and I have no proper source of income except my pocket money. I can't get more variation in my videos. So what are the tips to bring different ideas with limited amount of resource?
So I think over here, I mean, it's great. Congratulations. I think that's very, very unique. And, it's really nice to have fishes all over the world. I think a lot of tips that I spoke about, I don't know whether you're already making use of that. So maybe that's something that you can experiment with. Again, the presentation that I gave today was a very short format presentation. Of course, there is a much more detailed presentation where I go into, what are the different things that you could do specifically in Reels, specifically in stories, specifically in posts in order to grow your engagement. So maybe I can have, this will be a slightly long answer. So maybe I can have a discussion with him separately on this.
Okay, that will be good. Amman Arshad wants to ask you, I'm a lot in fashion and branding. I've seen a lot of people on Instagram who do brand endorsements like in clothing or products. What I really want to ask you is, how can I contact these big brands? What should be my first step for fashion branding?
Right. So I think with all brands that you want to tie up with, be it hotels, hospitality, or even fashion, you need to basically pitch to them yourself. That's the only way. So you pitch to them, they have an Instagram profile, they'll have a LinkedIn profile. If you can go to the website and figure out a contact that they have, or most websites have a contact us section, reach out to them. And when you pitch to them, make sure your pitching, your portfolio is really, really attractive. You might not have many followers, but what is it that they're seeing in you that they should spend that money on you? Spend their marketing budget on you, right? So first step is make a very good profile of yours, and then directly pitch to these brands that you want to tie up with. I mean, that's your safest bet. Of course, there are other influencer marketing agencies where they tie up with influencers and they take an X amount of commission. But I think for now, your best way would be to reach out to the brands directly. And that's what even I do. Most of my brand collaborations have either been brands reaching out to me or me directly reaching out to them.
Okay, Kamaluddin Mandal would like to ask you, is it necessary to create an Instagram account for more followers? He's a gaming YouTuber.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, if you're a gaming YouTuber and you already have good number of subscribers on YouTube, there's no harm in doing it on Instagram as well. Because whatever you're posting on YouTube, you can actually make a short video or trailer of those videos, put that on Instagram, and ask your followers on Instagram to go watch the full video on YouTube. So all these, I think it's relevant to be present on all platforms if you can, if you have the time and the capability. Be present on all platforms. It doesn't really hurt reaching out to more people, because a lot of people on Instagram might not be very active on YouTube. So here you are showing them what you have and getting them to your YouTube channel. So it's definitely going to be beneficial if you're on Instagram as well.
Madhushri is saying, I actually work in an influencer marketing company in SMM profile. The engagement is good on Instagram on this profile, but followers are not increasing much. What would you advise?
See, again, like I said, that's a very, that totally depends on the Instagram algorithm, because with followers growing, if your engagement is good, then great. But as far as growing followers is concerned, it takes a lot of time. Like it took me 4 years to get where I am today. It takes a lot of time. So few things, like I mentioned, you have to be very consistent with your posting. You have to engage with your customers. So if people are commenting, even if it's just an emoji, you have to reply. You have to make them feel special. If somebody took the time out to stop at your picture and comment, you better have the time to reply to them, right? You have to ensure that they want to comment again on your picture. So there are a lot of things like this that you can do in order to keep growing engagement, and followers will grow. I mean, if you're going to put your heart and soul to it, it will take time, but followers will grow. But don't focus on followers so much. Just focus on creating good content. Followers will happen.
Here is a very honest confession from Shubhro Chakraborty. He's saying, I don't know ABC of Instagram. From where can I learn all the ins and outs?
Okay, so that's absolutely fine. And there are so many people who don't know anything about Instagram. When I started, even I didn't know anything about Instagram. I was only on Facebook, and I was like, I don't want to get into another platform, but then I did. So there are tons and tons of videos on the internet. Everything is there. You could just YouTube some videos on, how to get started on Instagram, or a few hacks on how to grow on Instagram. There are lots. I mean, there is one video, I think, even which I have made. I think that's on Instagram or on YouTube, where, we've given some hacks, and I also do workshops on how to grow your presence on Instagram. But you will find a lot of content out there. So just Google, and you'll find a lot of ways on how to get started. And it's not that difficult. Trust me, it's no rocket science. It's just a lot of hard work.
Okay, maybe one more question here. Ridham Homik is asking, ma'am, say something about Instagram captions and the hashtag way.
Okay, so like I said, with Instagram captions, you have to keep experimenting. There are certain times when long captions really work. There are certain times when short captions work. So you have to keep experimenting. And every time you post something, look at your insights. Now, Instagram, below every post, there is something called as view insights. Go to your insights and check whether that's done well. So how many people have saved? How many people have commented? You also get insights of, from that post, how many people actually ended up on your profile? How many follows you got from that particular post? So all these insights are available for you. So from there, you can understand whether the long captions are working, whether short captions are working. At times, when my picture is really powerful, I know I have this fantastic shot that I've got. I might want to keep the caption short because I want people to focus on the picture. But there are times, so for example, like I said, I just went to Chernobyl, and I know people are really interested to know what I saw in Chernobyl, because it's supposed to be nuclear, radioactive even now. So which is why there I know that I have content which are interesting, I will keep the caption long. So it totally depends on what content you have. Hashtags, again, they have a limitation of 30 hashtags right now Instagram has. I would say make use of all 30 hashtags, but your hashtags have to be very relevant. Whatever you are posting, your hashtag has to be relevant to that content. So if you're posting travel, I can't hashtag fitness. I can't do something which is not relevant to my post. So ensure your hashtags are relevant. And also another thing is, do a mix of hashtags. So there are a few hashtags. When you select the hashtag, it will show you how many posts that hashtag already has. So a few of them will go to millions. Don't use all hashtags which are very big, because what happens is then your post gets lost in the clutter. So do a mix of small hashtags, medium hashtags, long, big hashtags. And when I say small, medium, big, I mean how many posts that hashtag has. So you have to keep experimenting and figuring out what works for you.
Okay, here is Parthabroto Ghosh who is saying, I'm a creative writer. My Facebook page is ontohin.infinity. Could you please explain how to promote myself?
Okay, so I don't know whether you have an Instagram profile or not. If you have a Facebook profile, great. I mean, I don't know exactly what your page is about. Maybe if I have a look at the page, I can give you some more feedback. But as far as promoting yourself is concerned, I would say reach out to all the people you know. You must be having so many WhatsApp contacts. I'm sure you have so many people who already know and believe the work and know that you're doing something great on Ontohin in Facebook. So try and get them to promote you. I mean, the best way is if you get your friends and families to promote you as well. Ask them. I mean, a lot of us actually shy away from asking for help, but I think that's one of the best ways, where you ask your friends and family members to spread the word. That's one of the best ways to get started.
Okay, we have Brindmoy Ghosh who is saying, ma'am, I have an Instagram account on photography with 4.9K followers. Wow. But recently my reach has gone down, it's decreased. How can I recover my reach as well as likes?
So again, this is totally based on the Instagram algorithm. So there are times when even my post doesn't do well, and you don't really have an answer as to why it is not. The few hacks that I had mentioned about being consistent, about using the right hashtags, about engaging continuously with your followers, if you have enough content, do a lot of reels. Right now, Instagram reels is very, very popular. I mean, I was really shocked that one of my Taj Exotica Maldives that I was staying in November, there was a floating breakfast in my plunge pool. And I had made a reel out of it. So an Instagram reel where you cut many videos and make a reel. And that crossed 300K views. I have no clue how. I didn't do anything different there than I have done in my other reels, but it's crossed 300K views. So like I said, Instagram is very, very experimental, and Instagram is all about, not that I use any different hashtags there that I used in my other reels, but again, it's probably about the landscape, it's about what I'm doing, and all that also matters, the content matters. So you have to keep on and on experimenting. That's the only way. So there are certain reels of mine which have 10,000 views, and there are certain reels which have 300K views, right? So you have to just keep being consistent. And one advice that I have got from Instagram team is do reels every day. Every day do reels. So be present on all Instagram platforms. Do IGTV, do reels, do live sessions, do posts, do stories. Use all the 5 platforms that Instagram gives you. And then I'm sure your reach will definitely go up.
Good. Shomik Banerjee would like to ask you where to find tags for posting Bengali videos or songs.
Oh, that I will have to look up. I will not know exactly where can you find the tag, but you'll have to look up. So basically, you could just go to Instagram and type in Bengali video songs. Maybe there the hashtags or the tags will come up. And then you can go to the profile and check which are the ones that are really popular.
I think that's about most of the questions. That is there anyone who would like to ask any more questions? Are there any raised hands? Prem Kumar, is there anybody who has got a raised hand would like to ask a question?
Yes, sir. Chinmay Kumar Hansda.
Get someone in. Get him in.
Yes, sir. So there is now Ashish Datta.
Ashish Datta, what is your question? Please go ahead. Ashish Datta, can you hear me? You are muted. Okay, Prem, bring the next participant in. He's not answering.
Even if not here, y'all can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'm like I said, I'm very, very active there.
Right.
You can always ask your questions.
Sure.
On Travel Chat.
We have got someone called Chinmay, right? Chinmay Kumar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Chinmay, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Sir, okay, ma'am. I had a question that as an entrepreneur, what do you have to do to make people come back to watch your content? I mean, there are so many travel vloggers out there. So specifically the idea, what do you do? How do you get the idea so that you can stand out apart?
Okay, so Chinmay, for me, to stand apart, I think it's a lot, like I mentioned, it's a lot about things that don't usually are told by other bloggers, or I would say things that are not usually there on the internet. So when I am doing a lot of offbeat travel, I talk a lot to locals. When I go to that country, I will talk a lot to locals. I will get to know a lot of facts about the country, which are not present on the internet. And that is something, I mean, one of the things that I would want to let my viewers know. So whenever I post something, for me, it is about why should my viewer spend those few seconds or minutes on my post? What value am I adding to their life? So if it is about a country like Ireland and the fact that, how a particular dish in Ireland is made and people might want to make that at home, how the cliffs of Moher, walking on the cliffs of Moher is just gorgeous, and what is the history behind cliffs of Moher. Those are few things, nuggets of information that I will put into my post where I know that tomorrow again, my viewer will want to come back and they're looking forward to my post because it's not just a beautiful picture of a country, but it's also some good information that I'm giving them about that particular piece. So that's how I will ensure that my viewers keep coming back for more.
Kaustab Homik, do you have a question? Please go ahead. Kaustab, can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Kaustab, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go on.
Hello.
Partha Bhuta Ghosh, please wait. We are taking a question from Kaustab Homik. Kaustab, go ahead with your question.
Please.
Kaustab, we are still waiting for your question.
Hello.
Kaustab, you are audible. Please put your question. Sir, let us take other.
Let's take a question from
Partha.
Partho Broto Ghosh. Partho, what is your question? No, he's not
Partha Brata
responding.
Ghosh, please unmute your mic.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, go on. Go on. What is your question?
Okay. Could you please explain a little bit about your business model and as well as your competitor? How you handle your
I think
competitor?
Partho, I think that question she has answered, I mean, in a big way. She has been talking about her model and how she has stood out from the competition. I think if you were listening patiently and carefully, you would have got the answer to your question. Let's take any more questions. Let's move on. Prem Kumar, any other person with a question? Bornabho Mitro, what is your question? Unmute.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sir, I'll directly question to ma'am,
Yes.
Anindita ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, we were 5 friends. We started a YouTube channel based on a short.
Bornabho, we are unable to hear you. I think there's some problem, the connection is off. We have got
Yes, sir,
Shagnik Haldar. Shagnik Haldar, what is your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Actually, I have an Instagram profile named Damoination, and I used to post daily some motivational post both in the Facebook and Instagram page. Unfortunately, since last December, the reach has gone down and it's still not growing properly. So what are the tips and hacks that you can share that to increase this in a proper way?
Okay, so Sagnik, the tips and hacks that I mentioned in my presentation, I think those tips and hacks are the ones that you can use, which I think will definitely help you increase your reach. Since you were inactive for a very long time, like you mentioned, that could be one of the reasons why your reach has gone down, because like I said, Instagram rewards people who are on Instagram all the time as content creators. So we have to keep creating content on Instagram, and that's definitely one of the ways to start getting reach.
Okay, Orunima Rajak, what is your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question. Orunima, please
Arunima
unmute
Rajak,
yourself.
please unmute your mic.
Prem, take the next one. Shudeep, what is your question? Please unmute yourself.
Sudeep, please unmute your mic and please put your question.
No sound? Anybody else, Prem? Or are there no more raised hands?
Says Syed Ali. Sir, there are probably repetition question are coming from Syed Ali.
Syed Ali, if your question has already been answered, there's no point repeating it. Shahid, has your question been answered already?
Hello.
What is your question?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, means I wanted to know that Instagram is paying as well as that YouTube is also paying. So I want to know that at what circumstances, means I want to know that how they get to know that we will get paid.
I didn't get the question. Who will get to know?
Not clear. Your question is not clear.
Means I'm asking that how will they get to know that I'm getting paid? Means what should I do?
They get to know that you're getting paid.
Who's the they? Are you talking about Instagram? Or are you talking about other brands?
Means Instagram. I'm asking about Instagram.
But Instagram did not know whether you're getting paid or not. You are getting paid and you are doing a promoted content for a brand, which is fine. You don't need to tell Instagram anything. Usually on Instagram, a lot of times when you are doing a paid partnership, there is a thing at the bottom, at the top, where you choose the location. Over there, you choose paid partnership with so and so brand. So you can choose that. With that, everybody will know it's a paid collaboration. But a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of brands don't want you to do that. That's okay. You don't need to let Instagram know anything.
I think that will be fair enough. I think we have taken a fair number of questions. Anindita, thank you so much for having taken the pain to answer all the questions, so patiently listening to all of them. And maybe a number of questions were repeated, but then thanks for your patience. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience, which has been wonderful. And I think it is time for us to also close the program. Yes. We would love to see you again some other time when you're free and can share your travel experiences and your other experiences with us, life experiences, in fact. Thank you. And we have had a wonderful session, I think. Sir, with your kind permission, shall we now close the program?
Thank you so much, Sujit. Thank you, Mr. Moitra. It was wonderful to be a part of this.
Conclude it. Completely.
Thank you, sir, for spending your time with us. Thank you for giving us so much time, as you always do. Thank you, Indranil, for being on the show with us. Thank you, Mr. Chopra. Thank you, Mr. Subharna Bose, for being with us on the program. And I thank everyone, all of the participants who have been here, listened to all the speakers and asked so many interesting questions. And I hope we have all learned something from the program, and that's the way to go forward. So maybe, as sir was saying, the days of earning from a conventional job are really counting, and we need to look at the internet as the next biggest employment opportunity. Nothing less than that will settle. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and wish you a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.